My name is Mihai Patrulescu. I work for Colliers Investment. I've just prepared a very brief presentation of sort of what are the trends that we expect for this year and how we think that they're going to affect the investment market, basically. So looking at the Romanian investment market, what always strikes me, it's how flat it seems and how calm it seems on the surface. So every year for the past 4 to 5 years, we've had 1 billion in turnover. It's almost like clockwork, you know. Some investors say it's the only thing that works like clockwork in Romania. But really, when you dig deeper, you start seeing a lot more differences in the market. You start seeing the fact that, 2014, 2015, we had 1 billion, but the market was very shallow. So we had very few investors in it. Now, in 2017, 2018, it started broadening. It's something much more resilient. So as we move forward, I think that's going to be really a crucial aspect. Also, I think when we're looking at 2019, we're about to see a paradigm shift in the market, especially in Bucharest. And what I mean by that is, to give you a little bit of context, we just finished our market report. And the thing that struck me the most was what's going on the office segment, what's going on the leasing segment. And you'll see that basically we're at a point where new demand for office space is stagnant. We are plateauing on the front of net take-up. And that's because the labor force is very strained. We are at historically low unemployment numbers in Bucharest, and basically this means we are relying purely on new graduates for new demand in the office space. So that's why net take-up, I believe it's going to plateau or even go a little bit lower than it is right now. The second thing is that deliveries of office space are accelerating, and I think they will continue to accelerate over the upcoming period. So why do I say that? In 2018, we had about 150,000 new deliveries in office space. 2019, we have 350,000 deliveries in office space. It's a huge difference. And this comes with a net take-up of about 120,000. Now, what's also very interesting to me is what was going on the land market. So on the land market, we've seen actually a very sharp acceleration of transactions of land plots for office. So again, this indicates that I should expect an important supply coming to the market during the upcoming years. So basically, we are at this point where there's going to be a wedge between the new deliveries and what the market can absorb. The bright side is that we are actually, the pre-leasing is very high. So for deliveries that are coming into 2019, about 60% of those are pre-leased. The not so bright side is that the broad majority of those are coming from relocations. And those relocations will lead to vacancies somewhere down the line. So I think actually 2019 is going to be pretty much the first year when Bucharest really has double-digit vacancy rate. And I hear some of you are thinking already, okay, but Bucharest has had double-digit vacancy rate throughout this leasing cycle. And it's true, but it was concentrated basically in 2 areas. If you take those out, we actually had very low vacancy. Now I think it's going to be something much more broad-based. And we're going to see a diversification among buildings and among areas. Personally, I think some areas will fare better than the others. My money would be definitely on Floreasca, because historically it's had the lowest vacancy rate. It's got a very large stock of new buildings. It's very evenly distributed. It's got good amenities. Similarly, I think CBD could fare fairly well, but it's got a sort of more mixed stock of office buildings, and that's going to drag it down. And I think there may be some issues on Dimitrie Pompei because of the older, especially on the older buildings, and also the infrastructure works that will be happening in this year and the next. Of course, the other way to be defensive in this environment is to go for very long lease contracts. Now, how will the investment market react? I think we have a very good example of what has been going on in Warsaw, in Poland, and we can use that to sort of gauge how the investment market may change in Romania. So basically, in Poland, we've had very large deliveries that were larger than what the market could absorb every year. And it's led to a very interesting segmentation in the market, where on the one hand, you have your trophy assets, your top buildings, long walls, in defensive locations. Investors are willing to pay top dollar for those kind of buildings. And then the other buildings come with a value add angle. And I think this is sort of the tendency that we'll start seeing in Bucharest over the upcoming years. And also what's very interesting to me is that yield compression, it comes in a burst. So that was really the example with Poland, I think. It was for about 3 to 4 years, nothing really happened, and then within 2 years, we saw a very sharp yield compression. There's still scope to see more yield compression in Bucharest for the trophy assets, but I think we will see more and more sort of value-add angles for the secondary buildings.